There we go, and we're back. Well, I'm back. Just waiting for the others to drop in. If you're watching this after the fact, we originally started a stream on Knowles' channel, but then something happened and Knowlesy disappeared. I've just sent them the link and they should be on their way fairly shortish. I'll shut Facebook off because it keeps bing-bonging and I don't like it. There we go. So I'll just load the page up so I can see if anybody comes in on the chat, which I very much doubt. Da, 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 da. So I'll just share the link on Arsebook and that. See if you pick up any viewers or anything. Doubt it might.
You.
Oh, we got who's the first here? Who's the first here? Knowlesy. No. Hey, so. Oh, you've gone incognito. Oh, I was going to say you've gone incognito, but your camera's just flicked on. I'm just sharing the link about on Facebook if you want to do that. Not the Hangout link, the what they call it link, just the so people can come and watch. If anybody pops in the chat, and you know, I might send the Hangout link to them as well, depending on who it is.
Lawrence is here.
Hang on a sec. Here.
Just wait, Soundboy again.
Tunnels connection.
There we go, he's back.
All right, so I take it we had more luck with this one.
There we go. Right, that's it. Shared on the Book of Faces. Right, so everybody's here then. Excellent, excellent. So, topic. Where were we? Was there a topic?
You were basically talking about I don't know, politics.
Oh yeah, well I've done that bit now, so yeah, I've done that bit now. So
let's talk about geeky things.
Yeah, well, topic, and don't you dare say fucking ponies.
No, I won't.
We can talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Oh, go on then.
Well,
it's got the Last Jedi.
On the subject of Star Wars, why are so many people so unhappy with The Last Jedi? I mean, personally, I don't see anything wrong with the film. I enjoyed it. And I don't get why there's all this hatred for it.
I haven't even seen it yet, so I can't comment.
Is because people spent 2 years writing the scripts on YouTube, but because they didn't get what they wanted, they all basically threw a hissy fit. At least that's what I would say.
I have to say, I think it had some letdowns, but it wasn't a bad movie. It was good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't.
Carl's seen it, let's not spoil it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so I can't possibly. I do know the rough storyline to it, but I haven't seen it, so I can't comment. But I do know that it's crap. If Mark Hamill can take to Twitter and say that the most recent Star Wars film is crap, then there's something wrong with it.
I didn't realise it did it. I didn't know he said that, actually.
Yeah, he said that, yeah. And the Han Solo film that's coming up.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of, apparently Disney are preparing for it to be a utter shit show, apparently.
Well, what happened was they'd already filmed, you know, they'd like filmed it. And when The Last Jedi came out, basically the amount of people that said that film was shit kind of made them, you know, shit themselves a bit. So they've reshot and re-dialogued a hell of a lot of the film because people's main complaints were that there was far too much, you know, social justice stuff in it and things like there was far too much sort of social justice crap in The Last Jedi. So they've basically gone through Han Solo and reshot the bits that might set people off. They've made it less snowflakey, which, to be fair, Han Solo isn't a snowflake. So why they would want to make a film with him being snowflakey is beyond me. I don't know, but that's the problem. Is you're getting people who aren't fans of franchises, like Star Trek and Star Wars and all stuff like that, coming in and using their films as basically a political platform. And the people who like Star Trek and Star Wars and all stuff like that really don't appreciate it, because I'm watching Star Trek or Star Wars or whatever because I want a bit of fantasy and escapism from all the bollocks that I put within normal life, and I don't need fucking Han Solo making an impassioned speech about LGBT rights, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from. I have to admit, I sometimes, it might just be me, but sometimes whenever somebody on YouTube, I don't know, might talk about a film and rattle on for 20 minutes about, it's nothing more than a social justice warrior movement in a film. If I've seen that film, in all honesty, a lot of the times I really don't understand what the hell they're talking about. I mean,
you have to. It's one of those things. If it's not something that you've got a fair bit of interest in, to the casual observer, you wouldn't understand what they're talking about. But to people who've got a fair bit of interest in such matters, like me and a lot of the other people I know, stuff like that comes in, and it's annoying. Especially when they make changes to characters. I mean, that's the reason why the new Ghostbusters film failed so badly, was because they took an existing franchise and basically shit all over it, because they wanted to make a point and they wanted to pander to feminists.
Well, I'm aware of that. I think everybody is.
Yeah.
But they say it wasn't a complete reboot. It was actually canon with the original films. It took place in the same universe.
No, it didn't. This is the thing. It was originally marketed as being as taking place within the same universe. The original Ghostbusters marketing, when 30 years ago, 4 scientists did it. But then when the actual film came out, it was nothing to do with the original Ghostbusters. So to the point at which they had Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd star in the film, but not playing, not playing Ray Stantz.
Yeah, not playing the characters. Yeah.
Yeah, they had them in the film as a nod to the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah, but they do that with reboots all the time now. I mean,
they do that with reboots all the time. Yeah, but the problem is when you take the source material and change it so much, it's basically, you write a completely separate film. And then just slap the Ghostbusters name on it in order to get people to go and see it. I have seen the new Ghostbusters film, and as a bit of a sort of Sunday afternoon on ITV type film, it's all right. But as this is the sequel, the long-awaited sequel to the original Ghostbusters films, it fails miserably. The humor is terrible. The acting in it is terrible. And the stuff that's in it, with what they call him, Paul Feig as director, it's just as offensive to women. I mean, he was going for a thing where they were basically pandering to, feminism and the social justice left and stuff like that. It was going for that, and he still failed miserably, because there's a lot of stuff in it that's just as offensive to women and black people as what there is to, people who like the original film.
Regarding the Ghostbusters film, I mean the new one, I don't know how true this is, but apparently the whole thing was done without Bill Murray's permission. Doesn't he own a large amount of the rights to the franchise?
I don't know, to be honest. I know that the original idea to do a Ghostbusters 3 was held up by Bill Murray, because he's one of those people that you have to get him in the right mood. It's they'd ask him and say, we're going to do a Ghostbusters 3. And at one minute he'd say, yeah, I'm all up for it. And then after that, he's like, no, I'm not bothered. But then again, bear in mind that, Bill Murray is getting on a bit now. And while he didn't mind doing the voice acting for the Ghostbusters game, and everything, I think he's getting it's at the point where he doesn't want to be doing much by way of acting anymore. But it's like I say, 1 minute Bill Murray was all for it, then he wasn't, then he was again, then he wasn't. So they just decided to go with, well, we'll just we'll just like rent out the license for him to make a film, and go with it, sort of thing. It's and that's what they did with it, and they ended up fucking the license up. So it's one of those things. I mean, it's like we were saying the other day with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. It's Roald Dahl let the license out for that in 1971, and he absolutely fucking hated the film that they produced.
Yeah, even though he wrote the screenplay for that film. He still didn't.
No, I don't. Did he? I don't know whether he did.
Yeah, he said he did.
But he absolutely hated how it turned out on screen, and he didn't like the film at all. So that's why there was no sequel to it, because they were also going to do Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, but it didn't happen because he hated the film so much. He went, right, no, sorry, you're not doing it anymore. And then after he died, obviously they come and said to family, look, we want to do another one and try and do it a bit of justice, sort of thing.
Yeah, I watched the screenplay. Roald Dahl did do the original screenplay for the original film.
Yeah. I know Roald Dahl did the screenplay for You Only Live Twice, but I didn't know he did the one for Charlie and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
I'd say I like both those films. It's really good. Gene Wilder was a really good Willy Wonka. But the only problem I've really got with the more modern Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is they Americanized it too much.
Well,
I'm not Johnny Depp's biggest fan.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you've got a room full of people with English accents sat there calling chocolate bars candy bars and stuff. No, we don't call them candy bars. If it's chocolate, we call it chocolate. If it's like, something else, we'll call it sweets. We don't call things candy bars. That really annoyed me. And then
that's the Hollywood way, isn't it?
Yeah.
But what I liked about it was at least the Charlie in the original film, he still acted more like a kid. At times he could get emotional, but the new, the Charlie, Freddie Highmore, people were saying about him like he could, pass on for Jesus because he was so obedient. He didn't.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like they took the character of Charlie and in changing from being, like a happy-go-lucky, optimistic boy to being this kind of angst-ridden, angst-ridden, moody, little arsehole. And it's like all the other kids like Augustus Gloop and stuff like that might have been cunts. But it's like I say, at the end of the day, it's Charlie as portrayed in that film was a bit of a dick in and of himself. It's like
the original or the new one.
The new one. Charlie in the original film was spot on.
Yeah, he was.
He was absolutely spot on, as was Grandpa Joe. I know that for the original Willy Wonka film, they got rid of Charlie's dad. Kind of a bit of a sob story to explain why the family lives in such poverty. But in the new film, they stuck to the book and kept his dad in it and everything like that. But then they invented the character of Willy Wonka's dad, which played brilliantly by Christopher Lee, obviously. But they didn't really need to do that. They kind of decided that, well, we've got to make, Willy Wonka, we've got to make him have like a backstory and stuff like that. Which, in the original book, it didn't need his dad to give him a backstory. It had a backstory that was perfectly adequate for Willy Wonka. It was just somebody who liked making sweets and stuff, and he set up a factory, because he liked making sweets. He was a magician, basically. And, they didn't need to give him daddy issues.
Yeah, but that's how it's done now, isn't it?
That's how it's done now. And it's
micro backstories for everything, even when you don't need them. And that's part of the problem in the modern film industry. Yeah.
I mean, it's like all that shit from fucking years ago with fucking Anita Sarkeesian and game characters. It's like, oh, you walk up to this character in the game and just shoot them,
Oh, yeah.
That's the backstory. It's like they don't need a backstory.
It's got really weird feminist lass who hates video games but has never actually played a video game.
Yes, that's her, the con artist,
Yeah, the one who speaks a load of crap about how, like, women, there are no strong female characters in video games. One answer to that, Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Well, she says there's no strong female characters in either games or films, and then when you games, films, or female superheroes, and then when people confront her with lists and lists and lists of them, she just calls them like racist or something.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos on YouTube. She's just ridiculously. She's actually quite funny because of how stupid she is.
Yeah. Yeah, but she kind of pissed everybody off with that, and sort of thing. But yeah, that's what I say though. With regards to the more modern kind of Star Wars films and stuff like that, they're going far too much down the fucking thingy. I mean, it's like
you know what Disney are like. It's all about a lot of it's about selling new merchandise, isn't it?
Yeah, it's money. That's all it is. This is one of the things that don't people get is they produce films for money. They don't do them because they're wanting to create great works of art. Disney doesn't do that anymore. Going back to Disney of yesteryear, you had things like Fantasia and stuff like that were great works of art, but people don't have the attention spans anymore. It's why like you get like your Michael Bay, just explosion followed by a car chase, followed by a gun battle, followed by another explosion, followed by a little bit
Disney film ever.
Oh, fuck!
Is the greatest film ever made.
The live action version's out this year, I think.
Next year.
Next year.
I have my doubts because personally, I don't think they should be touching the Lion King. Classic.
That James Earl Jones is coming back. He's reprising his role.
He's the only one that is. Like, literally, he's the only original voice. Everyone else is, like, brand new. He's the only original voice to be coming back.
Yeah, it's a shame that they couldn't bring Jeremy Irons back to do Scar as well. But
they could. You do... Yeah. I mean, just not to... I don't want to come across as racist here, but you are aware that Disney are playing that card because every single person doing a voice is basically black. Yeah, it's like they're trying to say something.
Well, it's like that thing that was going on about the other week. Was it? We need a Disney princess who's a illegal immigrant. We need a Disney princess who's had an abortion. We need a Disney princess who's been raped. And it's like, what the fuck? These are cartoons for kids. How the fuck are you going to work that into the fucking storyline and not make it fucking stupid and dark and ridiculous? It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like, hello, my name's Princess fucking whatever. I'm black and I was raped when I was younger. Like, that's going to be a fun film, isn't it?
Now let me sing a song about my rape.
Yeah.
It's my father.
Yeah. Oh.
I will even have flashbacks using stop puppets.
Yeah. Oh God. Just show me on the puppet where he touched you.
I seriously can see that happening in years.
You know a lot of original fairy tales which Disney movies are based on.
They are quite dark.
Darker story. A lot of them have much darker. Like I think in the original Sleeping Beauty, in the fairy tale, she was actually raped in her sleep.
Yes, she was. Yeah,
kids.
She was raped. Prince Charming raped her in her sleep, and she gave birth to his children while she was still asleep. I can't remember what the rest. Cinderella ended with the ugly sisters basically being tortured to death.
Cutting bit off. Yeah, and they cut off bits of their feet, don't they, to try and get it to fit into the slipper.
Yeah, they cut off parts of the feet, and then at the end, the king or whatever tortures them to death by forcing them to dance wearing shoes made out of molten metal.
Oh, yeah.
The Little Mermaid dies horribly.
And also, do you know how she actually loses her voice? The sea witch actually cuts out her tongue.
Yeah. So it's like I say, it's that's what they say about Disneyfication. They do take horrible things like that, and they kind of fluff them up a bit and make them all nice and cuddly. Which that's the Disney style. That's what Disney's always done. And to tamper with that formula by now reintroducing, Disney princesses that have been rape victims and stuff like that. It's like what?
I'd say
if it'd be like Disney doing a film that's directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
that'd actually be quite good. I would actually watch that.
Yeah, I would.
One Disney film that I think it is quite dark, even though it's child friendly. I think The Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know, I've never seen that. I'll be honest. The only Disney films that I've watched and really like, I like Aladdin.
yes.
I like Aladdin, and I like Tron. But other than that, that's it. I'm not really bothered about any of the Disney kind of animated stuff. It just doesn't appeal to me. Tron does, because I just really don't know why. I just really like it. Live action Disney stuff, I quite like The Black Hole.
Yeah.
Pretty
What
good
about
film.
Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah, I can watch them. I can give or take. I mean, I do like Johnny Depp as an actor, but Pirates of the Caribbean films have been going on for far too long now. I think it's time they gave them a rest.
Well, yeah, they've done what, five?
Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
They've got a
It's-
sixth one confirmed.
Yeah, it's like the first three were okay, but then after that, it's flogging a dead horse. It's stuff like that. But it's like I'm saying, it's Disney. It's like the pact in doing Toy Story and stuff like that for a
But
reason.
you know that there's going to be a fourth one.
Well, a fourth Toy Story.
Yeah, they have announced it.
Yeah, there's gonna be a
Well,
fourth.
we'll see what it's like. I mean, the original Toy Story was groundbreaking.
Pixar, the original, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the original Toy Story was groundbreaking. The second one had a really good story. The third one basically finished off the storyline where it needed to finish.
Yeah.
If you do a fourth one, it's either gonna fall into the category of being good or being completely shit. Unless they make it a reboot. If they make it a reboot, they could, in theory, capture some of the magic of the original. Well, I won't say magic, but they could in theory get some of the goodness of the original, but it'll never be the same.
I can't see them doing a remake. More than likely, the fourth one will be more akin to like a spin-off that won't be directly linked to the first three.
Yeah.
No, they've done a few shorts since then. Like they've done a few DVD shorts, about the little girl Barney who Andy passed on her toys to.
Yeah.
So I think another thing about reboots is, I mean, of course, the most recent reboots I've done was. Did you see the Power Rangers movie, Carl, last year?
Oh, that film doesn't exist.
I'll take that as what you did, and you hated it, or you didn't see it.
It's in the same category as Dragon Ball Evolution, I'm afraid. It doesn't exist.
Oh, don't go on. Dragon Ball Evolution is utter garbage. Why the?
I don't know what you're talking about, Sam. That film doesn't exist.
That is
That
a
film-
horrible film.
Yeah, that film doesn't exist, mate. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Well,
I think we can all agree that Dragon Ball Evolution doesn't exist.
Dragon
Yeah.
Ball Evolution is just a pitiful attempt of a movie.
It's just an insult to the franchise.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed the Power Rangers movie, and I just took it for what it was. I mean, it had.
Yeah, I liked
Honest.
how what they did was they upgraded them and they didn't make them the typical happy-go-lucky types that they were in the original Mighty Morphin.
No,
More realistic from a personality point of view.
And that they had Billy being on the autistic spectrum was a really good upgrade.
We just
we
killed
killed Cal. We just killed Cal.
Now he's
I have
back.
to say, I'm not sure about the CGI Bryan Cranston Zordon, but
Are you done?
Right,
I've seen it.
let's just put the Neil McCauley. Let's talk.
Yeah, let's
No.
start playing this.
Yeah, but
Let's. Well, why don't we talk about the film? We should completely talk about the MLP film. Shall we do that? No, we just killed Carl again. Well, technically we did. I don't think anything can kill you, Carl, but you know.
ask Carl, do you read manga books? Like anime on page.
I used to. I don't read much manga or watch much anime anymore. I just don't really like modern anime. It's far too mass produced for me. The last proper anime I sat and watched was Death Note.
Oh yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
That is
Speaking of which, where are we? Where are we? Ah. No, carry on. carry on.
I mean, yes, he's got a bloody death note, hasn't he?
Yeah, just for the crime of talking about ponies and everything. I've got your fucking name ready.
This is what happens when you piss off Carl. You end up in the death note.
Let's see. Let's see. Sam Maltby being raped by AIDS patients.
Now, this reminds me of this recent storyline in Coronation Street where David Platts had the gay rape.
Oh yeah, I packed in watching Coronation Street ages ago. You see, right, this is a real divergence from standard topics. I've always wondered why the producers of Coronation Street never allow any of David's evil plans to come to fruition. Because he's a great character.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, well. That's what I say.
But what because he beat it in Gary Windass in a boxing match yesterday, and Gary might actually die from his injuries.
Yeah,
so David a murder charge.
Yeah, well, hang on, you can't be charged with murder for taking part in a boxing match.
No, but David deliberately continued beating him after the bell was run in the head because he wanted to take out his anger about the gay rape.
Well, Gary Windass raped him in the bum.
No, it was another guy. It was another character who put the anger out on Gary.
Oh, right, okay. I don't know. It's I don't know. I haven't watched any soaps for a long time. I used to quite like watching Emmerdale and Cora, but then I just got really bored of it and discovered that, TV's crap. So I packed in watching telly.
Yeah. I've never liked it. I've never liked Coronation Street or Emmerdale. My mum used to watch it, but ever since my mum passed away, we just never watched it. Me and my dad, because it's just you look at it all. It confirmed that everybody that were Emmerdale, EastEnders, Hollyoaks, they're all the same writers, and it's just all the same storyline, just with different characters.
And everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's I can't for the life of me understand why people still watch Towie and stuff like that. It's the most vapid, pointless fucking piece of shit ever, but people still watch it, and it's like I can understand in a way because it's like, geeks and stuff like watching Star Trek and stuff for escapism. So I would put it sort of in the same category. That's what normies watch. Normies stuff like that as a form of escapism, which fair enough, but I don't get it at all.
Yeah, what was I going to say?
Yeah, television's getting absolutely crap.
The only two things that I actually watch are Game of Thrones and Vikings. That's, I think, the only two seasons.
But then again, those things aren't even on normal TV, so
it's Sky.
Yeah.
All
well,
the things on
the only stuff that I watch on telly is I watch like all the DC stuff. I like Arrow, I like Flash, I like Legends of Tomorrow, I like Black Lightning. Didn't think I was going to like Black Lightning at first. The first few episodes were a bit shit, but after that, it's like it's grown on me. I can't stand any of the Marvel stuff. I tried watching Daredevil and it was boring as shit. But I like Scorpion. Scorpion is so fucking ace and it's so funny. It's unbelievable. And I like Timeless, and I think they're doing a third series. I don't know though of The Expanse.
Did you like Justice League?
Justice League?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't. I meant to watch it. I've actually got it. I meant to watch it, but I haven't got around to watching it yet. At the minute, I'm watching through Dead Like Me. Back in the days when they used to be able to make decent telly. So I'm watching through Dead Like Me at the minute. Other than that, it's just keeping up with stuff. I'm so far behind on Dragon Ball Super; it's unbelievable.
I've finished. I've pretty much finished it all.
Yeah, I
haven't been watching a lot of anime more recently. I've watched a couple of Studio Ghibli films. I haven't seen. That's about it. I've been giving most of my attention to another show that I won't mention here.
What? The Only Way is Essex?
Nope.
Or is it Geordie? Or is Geordie Shore your favourite thing?
Nope.
I love that with right. There was an American program and it was called Jersey Shore, you know, about people living in, you know, like fucking New Jersey and stuff like that, you know, nice sunny place. And then they went, oh, we need to make a British version. I know, our version will take place in Newcastle. You're like, oh, God. You know, and then you get the shit like the Real Housewives of Essex and the Real Housewives of Chelsea. And it's like, these aren't real people.
No.
And if you want to see real people, fuck off with that.
He was holding that for a good 10 seconds there. I don't think you know.
Yeah, I didn't notice him. Right, let me get my Death Note out again.
Quick, John, grab Rainbow Dash. You might actually be able to join us in the Death Note.
Oh, we all got a death wish.
I'm going to be raped by AIDS patients.
I don't know what's going to happen to me, but
I'm gonna lock this door just to be safe.
Set on fire whilst taking a massive shit.
Like biologically possible.
All things are possible.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Good point.
It's like with Dead Like Me when you see some of the ways that people get killed so that George and that can reap people's souls. And it's because they work in the accidents division. And some of the ways people are, it's like ridiculous, fucking really ridiculous deaths. But, you know, it works. Like it was in the very first episode with the guy who, he's got his first paycheck, he's on his way to the bank to put it in the bank, and then he slips on a banana skin and ends up getting his neck broken by a revolving door. Oh god, that's Five Nights at Freddy's, isn't it, or something?
Yeah, Foxy.
I don't even know what that is, so you're safe with that one.
Hey,
it's my mate's youngest. He tried explaining it to me. He says like the game. He says, oh, like I don't know. You press buttons at certain times to make the things do things, and I don't know. I just says there. I says, oh, so it's a little bit like Minecraft, as in you do repetitive tasks in order to make things do something. It's like,
how are you getting on with Minecraft?
It's taking up far too much of my time.
Yeah, let's say I need to get. I was playing it several years ago, so I was introduced to it by a little cousin I've got. He's 14 now, but I need to reinstall it to the Xbox to play it again.
Yeah, well, I got it the other day. It's a friend of mine were doing streams where he's playing the Sky Factory mod, and I was like helping him on streams about like making suggestions for building and stuff. And then I looked, and it's the Java version of Minecraft is on the Mojang website for, was it $17.95? And I thought, well, you know, might as well, you know, because it's like Kerbal, as in the, you know, you can play the basic game, but then when you start adding mods and stuff, it becomes a lot more interesting. So I thought, well, $17.95, I'm going to get fucking years worth of play out of it. So it's worth it. Yeah, it's worth it. If you're into that sort of thing. I mean, it's like, you know, Baz says there, he says he'd never play Minecraft. He doesn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's another one I play. It's a similar one. It's a Lego game called Lego Dimensions.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about it. Yeah. That's way too fucking expensive to play that. With you have to buy the little figures and stuff, don't you?
No, that's Lego Dimensions. What I was talking Lego Worlds. That's what I meant. Lego Worlds.
Yeah,
that's what it's
right. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but you know, Minecraft's fine for me. It's what they call it. I've finally managed to get. I mean, I had to keep restarting the maps because what they call it, the last map I was playing, it was great. Unfortunately, there wasn't any iron anywhere. It's like I must have spent hours just digging and digging. I basically flattened an entire mountain and turned it into a massive crater looking for iron, and I just could not find any. So I had to restart. And the map I've started on now, I've got a secret underground lair, and I'm now in a position where I can start building bigger and better things. And the only problem is I can't find any lava anywhere at the minute. I need lava to get things working. I've already got enough stuff to start building my black pyramid with the skull on top of it. And then when it's finished, it's going to basically, it's a black pyramid with a skull, and then out the skull's mouth, I'm going to have a river of lava. Knowles, you turned yourself a mention in the Death Note. Sorry.
All three of us now. Well, actually, no, yeah.
John Knowles, let me think. Eaten to death by leprosy suffering transgender snowflake Hillary Clinton voters. There we go.
Oh,
I still love how Hillary Clinton's still going on about the election, even though she lost it like nearly 2 years ago.
Yeah, but Trump keeps mentioning it every other week.
Yeah, no, he won. He's allowed to because he won, and because they won't let it go. Every so often, you get
let it go.
Donald Trump did this. You could that's 2 mentions in the fucking Death Note now for him.
Yeah, bloody hell, one's enough.
Yeah.
Death Note.
Yeah, but that's it. It's like every so often got like the fucking the Pissgate dossier that Hillary Clinton played for that was like so fucking ridiculous. It's like, Jesus, that's not even salt. That's fucking psychopathic behavior. Yeah, it's like that. It's like, oh, I lost, so I'm going to pay for somebody to come up with this obviously fake document that says Donald Trump likes getting pissed on by prostitutes in a Russian hotel. And it's like 5 minutes investigation. Oh, look, it's fake.
I don't actually believe the whole Russia thing.
No, the whole Russia thing is just made up. It's literally, it's like, oh, they hack the results. How do you hack people voting on a piece of paper? You know, it doesn't work like that, I'm afraid. You know, that's just something like, oh, well, in the 21st century, we can say everything's on computer. But it's not. It's like, oh, they hacked the Brexit vote as well, and they hacked this and they hacked that. It's like,
no, it was on a bit of paper. You put your bit of paper in a bloody box. You tick yes and no. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and this whole thing, like, oh, was it Macedonian hackers from thingy put out fake news, and it's just pure fantasy, and I can't believe people are buying into it.
Oh, there's just too many YouTubers who spread that.
Yeah, if you don't, it's even if you don't have, you know, if you've got just the slightest, and I mean the slightest bit of skepticism, 5 minutes investigating all these claims just shows them to be bollocks. You know, and you get like CNN and all shit like that still going on. And Ninja Turtles, yay. Yeah. And, you know, you get 5 minutes, just 5 minutes, a rough cursory investigation. And, you know, you're like, what? You know, why are people doing this? It's the same sort of shit when you get like anti-vaxxers and stuff like that going on.
Oh, they make me laugh so much. Yeah,
it's like 2 minutes, 2 fucking minutes, and you've destroyed everything an anti-vaxxer has to say. The same as flat earthers. No, flat earthers really fucking. It's like, why are you not like locked up somewhere?
Have you seen the video of the flat earther who uses a globe of the planet to try and prove why it's impossible for a plane to fly around the Earth?
Yeah, I've seen that. The what they call it? Well, when a plane flies around the planet, then the nav ball should stay in a straight line, but doesn't. It moves, so therefore it's a conspiracy by the electronics companies to make you think that the nav balls on planes are round and not flat. And it's like, oh, Jesus. Oh.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
I did find it really funny though that Ken Ham spent millions on that what they call that museum of creation science.
Oh my God. Lawrence, FX lightsaber.
Yeah, he built the Museum of Creation Science in the shape of a giant Noah's Ark.
Yeah,
I think it was about 18 months after it opened, it got washed away in a flood.
Oh, no.
Brilliant!
I don't know what that is, Knowles, so you're safe.
It's Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, right, okay.
Little plush.
A plush Leatherface.
Yeah, why not?
Well, it's like that when during the 80s when they brought out like Freddy Krueger action figures and stuff like that, and it's like, you know these are films for adults and not children, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how they marketed RoboCop.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, there was the RoboCop film came out, and then they did the cartoon. That was it, RoboCop and the RoboCop and the Cyber Police as a cartoon that had like he didn't kill anybody, he just had like a stun laser or something like that, and that was actually quite a good cartoon. I quite liked that, and the toys were pretty cool as well. They had the Cyber Police car, which was, like blue vacuum metallized chrome and stuff like that, and it was really nice. And I had one, but they never came out properly in this country, so finding RoboCop, original RoboCop and the Ultra Police stuff was really hard.
Yeah, I remember the cartoon RoboCop. Yeah. I mean, I think that must have come out. Was it possibly?
Well, there was a couple of RoboCop cartoons, because there was RoboCop and the Ultra Police that came out sort of late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one. I did have a double videotape of 2 of the old RoboCop films on it.
Yeah. There was another one. I think it was called RoboCop Alpha Commando or something like that. And that was
I remember that one.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a live-action series for it that was basically
yes, there was.
A child-friendly version of it? It was live-action, but it was mainly for kids.
Yeah, there was actually 2 live-action TV series. One of them was just called RoboCop, and it was filmed mostly in Canada, and it wasn't bad, but it was family viewing. But it did have a really interesting storyline. And then there was the RoboCop Dark Future series that was actually written by Frank Miller, I think it was, and it was based on comics that had been written by Frank Miller, and it was really good. The storyline was really good. It's just that the way it was presented on film was a bit crap. But I really liked it. I really liked the Dark Future series because it was like 4 sort of TV movies, and each movie was the storyline. It was like a linked storyline. So you watch one film and then you have to watch the next film to find out how it ends and stuff like that. But yeah, it was really good, that one. Oh yeah.
Is that the one where they have the black RoboCop?
Yes, RoboCable. Yeah, RoboCable, where he's got 2 guns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yeah. Because it's John Cable was Alex Murphy's friend, and it's like after Murphy got turned into RoboCop, he carried on as being a policeman, but then he ended up getting killed, and they turned him into a more updated version of RoboCop. And then they called him RoboCable, supposedly to go after RoboCop, but then they ended up joining forces.
Oh, John.
Oh, right.
What was the beer you drank tonight?
It's a mixture of beer and whiskey.
Oh my lord!
Yeah.
I never mix. I never drink mixed lager with spirits. It has a very, very bad. It's a very, very bad mixture.
It can be.
Last time you drank something like that, John, you were sick.
Yeah,
that's what people drink. Yeah, that's what people used to drink years ago, though. It's like in the 70s and stuff. People would have like a pint of bitter with a whiskey chaser, and you'd have a pint of beer, and then you'd have just a slug of whiskey to go with it, and you could either put that in your drink or drink it separate or what. But people are a bit more responsible with drinking than what they are nowadays.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, a few years ago, I was in a bar in San Francisco to the early hours of the morning with my dad and his friends.
Was it the Blue Oyster Bar by any chance?
No, it was a bar called Bing's. They're not there anymore. But I went and had like several Jaeger.
Do you know what the Blue Oyster Bar is?
No, I don't think so.
You never seen Police Academy?
I've seen bits. I've never seen the whole thing.
Oh right. Well, I won't spoil it for you then.
Yeah, I had like several Jaeger bombs and several lagers.
Oh, that's.
And I woke up in the night and I couldn't make it to the bathroom in time. So I was sick on the hotel carpet.
Oh. See, this is the thing. It's years ago, back when I was a lad, my parents worked for John Smith's brewery, so they used to run pubs on behalf of John Smith's. And this was back in the days when the only place where you could get an alcoholic drink was in a pub or by buying it at the off license, right? And I think the whole drinking culture thing, where people were getting smashed constantly and stuff like that was started off when they allowed supermarkets to start selling booze.
Yeah,
you couldn't buy beer in the supermarket. You could buy certain things, like you could buy wine and spirits and stuff like that, but they didn't have like massive selections of it like they do now. And because you can now buy enough beer to get shit faced on, for like 20 quid from a supermarket, people do that rather than go to the pub. So you get people that are basically shit faced all the time because it's never been easier to get hold of alcohol. And then they wonder why, we've got this like binge drinking culture and stuff like that. And then the same like, the pub industry being killed off and stuff. It's like, because one, it's cheaper to drink at home, and two, at least when you're at home, if you want to smoke or something like that, you can have a fag. It's now, yeah. Well,
I can. Inside.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, it's the pub I used to go in. There was a friend of mine, and he had both his legs amputated from below the knee. So it was quite hard for him when he wanted to go for a smoke, because he had to get up and walk outside and then stand outside to have a drink, on his false legs. And it's like he said there. He said it buggered him up, because it would be, he'd have a drink and that. He'd come home at the end of the night, and basically his stumps were red raw, because he'd have to be walking about all the time to go to go and have a smoke and stuff like that. And then a lot of people stopped coming in pubs because it became so expensive, because people were just getting, it's like a lot of young'uns. I noticed there that you get shit faced and then go out, sort of thing.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they don't go out till 9-10 o'clock at night. So it's like pubs and stuff will be open all day, and there'll hardly be anybody in. And then it gets to like 9-10 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden it's full of pissed up fucking kids.
That's what
that's
around our end.
I don't really go to. I don't do like the nightclubs really anymore, because it's sort of past the age now. And whenever you go into like a pub, place that's done as a club, it's full of 18-year-old birds. And as a 28-year-old man, I don't want to be in a place that's surrounded by 18-year-old birds.
Oh, I wouldn't mind that. The main problem is if you're surrounded by 18-year-old birds, how many of them are actually 18?
Yeah, it's a fact.
And the other problem is if you manage to find one who is 18 and she decides that she's taken a particular liking to you, how do you know that when you wake up in the morning you aren't going to be accused of something that you can get locked up for?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So
that happens far too much these days. Far too fucking much. And it's like, oh, well, I'd had a drink, I wasn't able to consent. It's like, well, if I've had a drink and that means I wasn't able to consent as well, so that means that if I'm getting locked up, then you should be getting locked up as well. But it doesn't work like that, because, men are evil, despicable sexual predators and stuff like that.
Well, wasn't it until very recently statutory rape laws only basically protected the rights of women?
They still do.
They still do. I thought they changed them.
It's why you get male teachers, having relationships with female students, and male teachers are disgusting sexual predators who end up in prison. Which, if you're committing statutory rape, yes, you should end up in prison, because you're a fucking pervert and a paedophile. Yeah. One female teacher does it. Female teacher has sex with a 14-year-old boy, gets pregnant to him. She doesn't go to prison at all.
Yeah, wasn't there a case like that about 2 or 3 years ago where a high school teacher effectively drugged 2 15-year-old boys and raped them, and she just walked away scot-free, didn't get any prison time? Yeah. I remember reading about it, and there was absolute uproar over it.
Yeah, because it's like they say, if a male teacher can do that then and go to prison, then why can't a female do it? It's this is one of those equality issues. It's like equality, but only the good bits, sort of thing. And I strongly object to that. If you want equality, that's fine. I've no objection to that at all. You know, as far as I'm concerned, anybody can do what they want as long as they're not hurting somebody else and things like that. But if it's against the law to have, you know, be a teacher or whatever and have sex with underage people, then if I've got to go to prison, you know, I as a male have to go to prison for doing it, then so should females.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's thingy. Same with things. It's like I say, if you know, well, I've always said there that all paedophiles, they should hang them. No prison.
Yeah, they should. But I don't think it's worth keeping them locked up forever. I think that in that case, I argue the death penalty should be brought back for that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's the same with I mean, there's a thing that was going around on Facebook last week about two blokes who gave up their British citizenship to go and fight for ISIS.
Oh yeah, and
now they want to come back, and it's like, well, when they come back, they should be tried for treason and executed as traitors because that's what they are. You know, there's no argument about it. That's what they are. So if they want to come back here, then they have to face the penalty for it. If, you know, living in an Islamic country is so great, why do they want to come back here?
Well, they're basically saying a load of crap, like, you know, that they were forced into it and it was against the will, and, you know, they didn't mean to kill all these innocent people.
Bollocks.
And, you know, well, their argument is that they want to come back to the UK to face a fair trial in the UK. They don't want to face it in international courts. I think the real truth is they're hoping to kind of get some kind of plea bargain, probably under...
Well, no, it's basically they want to come back here and face trial because our legal system is really soft. That's why. I mean, they want if they stood trial in the Arab world, especially if they've been fighting for ISIS, and, you know, ISIS are basically getting their asses kicked everywhere, more or less. And if they, like, say they're in Syria and they get grabbed by the anti-ISIS faction in Syria and put on trial, they'll get a bullet through the head. The trial will be so immensely quick. It'll be, were you fighting for ISIS? Yes. Bang.
Pretty much.
Yeah. If they go to any other country, or if they try, I mean, they're not eligible to stand for war crimes trial because it doesn't apply in their thing. If they come back here, they will. I don't know what they'll do with them here. Technically, it is treason what they've committed, so they should be put on trial for treason. So if they come back here, then they should be willing to stand trial for treason. There is no other offence that they've committed other than that.
I might be overlooking this. I'm not an expert or anything on bloody laws or anything, but technically, I'm probably wrong here, but technically, isn't in the UK, don't we kind of still have a death penalty for treason?
No.
No, there's no death penalty at all.
It was up until 1998. There was still a death penalty for treason. That was it. There was no death penalty for everything else had been abolished apart from treason. Then in 1998, they got rid of capital punishment for everything.
Right.
But
I will be completely open here, guys. I personally don't agree with the death penalty. Personally, I don't agree with it, full stop.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't change what the person's done, would it? And, you know, it wouldn't change what they've done.
No, it wouldn't change what they've done, but it would stop them from doing it again. That's
I can understand that, but my argument is that it's not. From what I know, it doesn't decrease crime levels. It doesn't deter crime. You know, I can understand people doing it as a punishment.
Yeah, I get what you mean. The point is that the death penalty hasn't been used as a deterrent for ages. You know, it's when people go out and commit crimes, they know if they're caught what penalty they'll face. You know, be it imprisonment or whatever. They know that if they get caught doing something naughty, they'll be punished for it. The idea behind the death penalty is to set an example.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically, we do not tolerate this. This is what happens.
But it doesn't have that effect anymore.
It doesn't really have that effect anymore. But what it does, it's like they say, it's you know, say you get a paedophile who, you know, abuses children and stuff like that, you know, and they get, you know, arrested or whatever, put in prison. What we're then doing is the state is then subsidizing for them to live, you know, basically to live semi-comfortably for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I can understand that view.
I don't see. I personally do not see why we should have to look after people like that. I really don't.
No, that's a good point. The thing is, I mean, have you heard the recent story? John Venables, as a kid, he was one of the murderers of James Bond. He's been in prison twice since he was released for looking at child pornography.
Yeah. Why he's not swinging from a rope by his neck, I don't know. Because it's like, when you're young, it's like, you killed somebody, that's horrible. You were in prison for a long time, and you were basically given every chance to reintegrate. You were educated. They released him from prison under a new name and everything like that. And then he gets caught looking at kiddie porn, not once but twice. That, to me, that's your chance gone, I'm afraid, mate. That's it. You had a chance and you've blown it. So people like that, we shouldn't be wasting time and money on them anymore.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to nip to things, so you can talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Well, I will take this absence. What should our next topic of conversation be?
Well, Cal's gone. Let's talk about ponies.
Right. Okay. I'll say a quick word. I'm going to take another fag break, but I will say, I still haven't watched any more in the past few days. I've been busy with things. But I will get back to watching it. So I really am enjoying it.
Don't worry, we've got plenty of time. By the way, what's really, really funny, there's actually 2 Brony accounts watching right now.
Really?
On the feed.
Right. At some point, we'll have to do a live stream in the Bronies UK channel.
Easter egg.
Oh yeah.
What egg is that?
It's Lindor.
What?
Lindor, truffle Lindor.
Oh yeah. I was to say you didn't get the MLP Easter egg like I did.
No, I've got another 2 upstairs. I've got a Thornton's one and a not cream egg, chocolate Terry's orange egg.
Yeah. All right. Please excuse me while I go and satisfy my nicotine craving.
Okay.
You should quit, Lawrence.
I know I should.
Yeah, what's really funny, someone called Yin Horizon Lunar Horizon and Yin Wolf, and apparently they are Brony accounts.
Oh, that's all. I haven't looked at the chat. Oh, fucking hell! There's been loads of people in the chat that I've ignored. Sorry about this. I haven't been looking at the chat.
No, I've just been having a look, and apparently there's at least 3 people watching.
Yeah,
4
just
people.
let me quickly scan through the chat because.
Yeah, no worries.
No, I'm being on Twitch for a while. My consciousness, nice thing. So, hello, you, Luna. Hello, Yin. Hello, Transformatics. Yep. So nothing there. They can't accept defeat. Oh yeah, that'd be when I was talking about Shillery. Yeah. So I should really have the chat up so I can see it.
Yeah, I've only just noticed that there's a few people watching it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, I've got people on my Discord, on Discord and stuff that's sub to me on YouTube as well, and
All right.
Yeah, but it's like I say. I mean, I got banned from Twitter the other week. I've no idea why. This is the thing. This is what Twitter does. I woke up basically I'd had a Friday night where I'd been on quite a few streams and. We'd been shit posting on Twitter and stuff like that. I went to bed. I woke up the next morning and it just come up and said your account has been suspended. So I appealed it, and the answer I got back was that apparently my account was suspended because it was spreading hateful material and hate speech. And I asked for specific examples of this and not being forthcoming with it. So it's just basically one of those things as, we don't like you because your politics isn't right for us. But we don't have any specific reason to permaban you. So what we'll do is we'll just use the intentionally vague, violations of terms of service thing to get rid of you. And fair enough. Okay. And so I say I've got on a thing on Gab, and a friend of mine by the name of Simon Templar he keeps an eye on Twitter for me. He's under the thing. Was it at T3H_Saint? So you might want to go and follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, I've started following him.
Yeah, I followed him.
Yeah, he's a great guy, isn't he?
Speaking of stuff, it is something that's happened to me recently regarding eBay, which I'm pretty pissed off about.
Yeah.
So basically, short version, I recently sold some stuff on eBay. A couple of weeks after, about 2 weeks after the deliveries, I get an email from one of the buyers telling me the item hasn't arrived yet. So I checked the tracking information, and it clearly showed the item had been delivered and signed for. So I emailed the buyer and said, well, according to the tracking information, it's being delivered. Here is a tracking number, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So,
at that point, though, Sam.
Yeah.
Once it's been signed for, delivered and signed for, that's it. It's not your problem anymore. It's
I know.
I
know, but I basically passed the information on and said, I would advise you check with, obviously, post office because it's clearly been delivered. And then a couple of days later, they sent back to me saying, I've tried the tracking number and it just comes up blank. Here's a screenshot. And well, that's not right. So I sent him a screenshot of the tracking information saying, here, this is the tracking information. This is clearly your address.
Yeah.
It's clearly been signed for. So, short version, basically, he opened a dispute. eBay, despite me saying to eBay, no, it's delivered, here's the bloody tracking information and proof of signature and delivery, eBay have basically gone in the buyer's favour, refunded him, and now saying to me, I have to pay eBay the money back that they refunded to him.
No, you don't. No, you
So
don't.
my eBay account's been suspended until I pay the money back, which I'm refusing to do.
Well, fair enough. Start another account. It's this is the thing. It's if the post office has delivered the item, it's been signed for, then the person should be contacting the post office. It's the post office's problem, not yours. As far as you're concerned, you've put an item up for sale. It's been sold. You've been paid for it. You've dispatched it by tracked mail. It's being delivered to the address as on the box or whatever, and you've received a signature for it. What happens after that is nothing to do with you. It's down to the postman that got the signature for it. Trust me, it's like I say, I used to work for post office, so I know this. But as for eBay going in your favour, they shouldn't have done that, and you owe them nothing.
I know.
You owe them nothing. So fuck them. It's basically what it is. It's somebody. What it is? Somebody tried it on me once. It's somebody trying to scam you. They've got the stuff.
Oh yeah, obviously.
They've got the stuff, and now they're wanting the money back. They're trying to scam you, and it's never worked with me, and it never will. It's just like that. If eBay, last time I had it happen, eBay tried to do the same thing on me, and I went, look, here's the signature for the item, and it was a proper signature as well. It wasn't just like a fucking cross or something. Yeah. And here's a tracking number showing it's delivered. Here's the signature. Swivel on it. This is basically the buyer is attempting to scam. And tough. If you want money off me, then sue me. And that's it. And the case got dropped straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I never thought of just doing another eBay account. I mean, from what I know, I'm under no obligation to pay this money to eBay, as far as I'm aware.
No. They've took it on their own back to pay this person, so it's nothing to do with you.
The thing that's got me is it's not just the fact they're asking me to pay back the money that the buyer paid me for their item. They're also asking me to pay interest on top of it.
Boys. Yeah, get fucked.
So
my answer to that would just be sue me, dickhead.
Because the total amount was £22.
Yeah.
And they're wanting me to pay, eBay wanted me to pay them about £36.
Yeah, it's because they're doing it through like that PayPal credit thing, where they'll pay back and then you've got to pay like admin charges and interest for them doing it. And it's like, no, sorry, no, not doing it.
No, I'm not. I'm just ignored them. I've emailed them directly and said basically, what the hell's going on? I provided information stating it had been delivered. Why the hell are you basically voting in favour of the buyer when he's obviously
because the adjudicator that judged the case didn't actually bother reading it. They just went, yeah. You'd be surprised how often that happens. And the next thing, if you continue to ignore them, the next thing you might get a letter from a debt collectors, and then it'll be fun because you'll just say, well, sue me. Just literally just say, sue me. Because then it'll go to
36 quid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they won't do it because they won't do it because of that thing, and then it's just you sue me for that money, do it, and then if it does go to court, which it very much will, which very doubt will, all you've got to do is just show the fucking tracking number and the signature and go, there it is, sign for.
Yeah, I've still got all screenshots showing delivery.
That's all you need to do. Don't worry about it. It's so if you do get a letter from a debt collector or anything like that, let me know, and I'll show you what to do. Because I've had to do that myself before, and it's a piece of piss. They're just basically sniffing for money.
No, I'll keep that in mind, mate. If I need you, I'll drop it.
Yeah. But Transformatics just said in the chat there. I am watching the chat now. I was wondering about the Twitter thing. Saw your Facebook post about it. Don't really get that site. Basically, what I do with regards to Twitter is I have two things. I've got my Facebook, which is more for personal stuff, people actually know me and things like that. And then on my Twitter, I just shit post. It's it's like I say, I've met a lot of people through Twitter that aren't on my Facebook, and I've got them by just on Twitter or by other things that I speak to them by, like Discord and stuff like that. But Twitter itself is, I don't know. Twitter itself is a bit of a cesspool. It's it's quite fun to go on there and have discussions with people and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you can, because you can take the piss out of celebrities and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can have a laugh and and also it's like a lot of things use Twitter as announcements for stuff that's coming out or
so that's why I'm on Twitter. I use it mainly for that, like films.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but it's when it's at the point now where Twitter's banning people and warning people just because they say something that some fucking twat sat in an office somewhere at Twitter's headquarters don't agree with. It's taking a piss.
I'm surprised I haven't received some form of warning or caution on YouTube recently, because one of my most recent videos that's been getting a lot of attention, I've basically been talking about why the hell are Kate and Jerry McCann still getting funding for their missing daughter?
Yeah.
When there's so many other missing kids in this country.
Yeah. And I'm surprised that I've never banned YouTube banned me for my opinions on that case.
Yeah, I think Twitter's lightened up a lot. Not Twitter, YouTube's lightened up a lot recently about people talking about stuff like that because they were coming down with the fucking ban hammer really fucking stupidly on people, and 9 times out of 10 you were getting warnings and stuff, not because a person had made that decision that you were getting a warning. You were getting it because it was just an automated process.
Yeah,
there was no adjudication. I mean, it's like same with the Twitter. All it takes on Twitter is just for somebody to report one of your tweets. It doesn't matter what the tweet says, as long as if they go and report it, then 9 times out of 10 it just goes straight to the automatic thing that hands out a warning.
Right. I've only ever had one warning on YouTube, and that was probably about 3 or 4 years ago now, and I've never understood why. Basically, I got like a notification off YouTube about a video that I did, and in this video, all I'm doing is just talking. I was just talking about auto assembly, and for some reason, it was flagged up as copyright. It's like, how the hell? Is copyright?
You don't need to worry too much about them. What it is there's a different. Like, I've got quite a few copyright infringement things on some of the video I've done, and all it does is it's not really a warning or anything like that. It's just them saying you use copyright material in your video which somebody's made a claim on. So what happens is that video gets adverts put on it, and you don't get any money from that. But then again, it's like, say, I've demonetized all my YouTube because it's like I say, I made fuck all off it anyway, and I don't see why, if I'm making fuck all, Google should make money either. So it's occasionally there's one I put up a bit back, and it got basically before it had even gone live, the video had gone live while it was still processing, it got a copyright infringement on it. It's like, all right, whatever,
Yeah,
But what happens is if you put something on there and make money off the back of it or something like that, you'll get what's known as a proper copyright strike. which is basically that video will be taken down because it's it's directly infringing on someone's copyright. Like if I uploaded, I don't know, say Transformers the movie to my channel in its entirety, I'd get a copyright strike because it's not my film. But if I did a video where I played Transformers the movie from start to finish and then put in like little intersections where I discussed what just happened in that scene or something like that, that's for evaluation stroke satirical purposes, and it's under free use. So I can get away. I say get away with that. It's not a case of get away with that. It's like I can do that. I have had a couple where I've used done things like that with what they call it. It's like when I'm taking piss. Like I did one, and it was a video taken from Vice Media. I think it was the lesbian groping club thing, and I got a copyright strike.
It was something that happened to me. Well, nothing bad happened to me once, but recently I did a video for my reactions video. So I do something called Attackers Reactions, where I basically just film myself reacting to stuff that I watch. And there's one I did that got a copyright. It got blocked in the UK and US, so I decided to take it down anyway. I was doing reactions to one of the animated Titanic films for Piss Takes.
Oh God!
But it said it got a copyright for the music.
That happened when I did my Let's Play of Aladdin on the Mega Drive. I got a copyright infringement, not a copyright strike, copyright infringement for the music that was played in the background, because the YouTube bot can't tell the difference between the background music from a video game and me playing oh God, what's the Street Rat song? That one. Me playing that one. Yeah, that one. It's I got that, and I couldn't be asked to argue it. So
like 90% of the copyright infringements is just the automated bot being stupid.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's just it's set up to. It's like if you've got music in the background and it's not from a registered royalty-free music source, and the thing picks up like a certain amount of notes. I think it's you're allowed to use 29 seconds of music before it becomes copyright infringing or something like that. Right. So if it picks up more than 29 seconds of that particular piece of music or that song or whatever, then it sets the bot off. Even sometimes I've used copyright-free music in some things, and it's it's triggered the bot. But it's just like it's just like going on. No, sorry, this is a copyright-free music source. So fuck you.
Yeah, the song you was talking about there, Cal, was Riff Raft Street Rat. That's the name.
That's it. Yeah. Got to eat to live, got to steal to eat, and that's why we can't get along. Yeah, I fucking love that song. That song and the Prince Ali song in Aladdin.
Aladdin, yeah.
Make way for Prince Ali.
Yeah, or A Whole New World.
That's a horrible song.
Yeah, let me just take you out for a ride on a magic carpet. I'm a complete stranger. I may rape you, but you're going to come with me anyway because I love
it's the Islamic world, isn't it? So, you kind of expect to be raped.
Yeah.
And that's that stream, this stream fucking probably getting a warning.
Yeah, probably.
On the subject of Aladdin, I heard that I saw on the DVD when I first got the first DVD release that they'd actually cut out a song that Jafar had as the villain song, which was actually quite a good song. I think it's called "Humiliate the Boy," where it's when he's got the lamp and he wants the genie to basically take away everything from Aladdin that he gave him.
Yeah,
which is quite a good song.
I'm trying to think, I can't remember because I got Aladdin when it first came out on fucking video.
So did I. I'm about 4 years old.
I can't remember that. Yeah, I can't remember that song because I got Aladdin the Christmas after it came out, the pictures on video, and I got Return of Jafar on the day of release. Well,
I think that straight-to-video sequel is one of the straight-to-videos from Disney that was actually good.
Yeah, I liked the original Aladdin film. I liked Return of Jafar. And I liked Aladdin and the Prince of Thieves, I think it was. Or was it King of Thieves?
King of Thieves.
Yeah, but the Aladdin TV series was fucking awful.
No. Oh, yeah. Did you see episode of the Hercules animated series where they did the team up with Aladdin?
No.
They did a Hercules and Aladdin team up.
Yeah. Basically, what happened?
Different time zones.
Yeah, Jafar's ghost ends up in Haiti in like the River Styx, and he plots together with Hades to destroy Hercules and Aladdin. They team up together.
But they're from different points in time.
Yeah, it's Disney though, isn't it?
It's Disney, so it doesn't matter.
You know.
Yeah, I mean they can get away with like Genie having access to modern stuff because he's magic.
True.
But the actual characters of Aladdin and Hercules, it's like if you say, Aladdin, when you look in it, there's quite a few references to Islam, so it has to take place post 7th century, I think it is. But Hercules takes place in like fucking, it's sort of like 2,000-3,000 BC. So yeah, that's just Disney doing the Disneyfication.
I am very interested.
What Disney like about all the films being canon with each other in a way.
Yeah,
theory, isn't it, that they're all connected?
Yeah, but they have like these Easter eggs. Like the most recent one that was so obvious was in Frozen. You saw, was it Rapunzel and Flynn at the coronation scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I'm interested in is, because obviously I know Disney are going to be doing a live action Aladdin. I'm very curious as to how they're going to do it, because with the state of affairs it is, with all the bloody anti-Islam crap that's spewing about at the moment, I'm curious about whether or not there'll be uproar over them doing it, because obviously... Are they going to shy away from the fact that it's set in the very heart of Islamic, what could we say, basically the very heart of the Islamic world back in the 7th century, or are they going to try and make it more akin to people who won't get tricked?
Well, the actual Arabian Nights tales, the 1001 Arabian Nights, comes from before Islam.
Oh, really?
No, some of it is Islamic, some of it isn't. So whether they do, I mean, it's like when you sit and read the proper 1001 Arabian Nights, none of the stories have really got anything to do with Islam. But because of where it's set, it's obviously set in the Middle East and things like that, around Baghdad and stuff like that, and they can't help but make versions of it now that do include Islamic references to it. They have to, basically. But it's interesting to watch. Like when you watch old films like about Sinbad and stuff like that. They're quite they're quite fun to watch. I mean, there's the was it Golden Voyage of Sinbad that's got is it that one? I can't remember. It's like Golden Voyage. One of them's got Tom Baker in. I can't remember which one. But it's like you can sit and watch stuff like that, and it's enjoyable. It's like, yeah, all right, so it's set in the Islamic world, but there's no mention of Islam because there doesn't need to be. Whereas nowadays, because they have to virtue signal, there will be mentions of it in there. But whether it becomes basically an Islamic recruiting tool is another thing. You see, they can mention Islam all they want, which is fine. It's like, yeah, there are countries in the Middle East are Islamic. They're all Muslims, whatever. I don't care. But if they start virtue signaling, going like, "Oh, Islam's this and Islam's so much better than the way Western," it's like, no, that's where I draw the line. Sorry. Yeah. But he's I don't know. But it's like I say, when people, it's like when people speak out against like Islamification, they get called racist and stuff like that. That really does my head in, because it's like, well, first off, Islam isn't a race; it's a religious philosophy. While it can be argued that being a Jew is both, because you can be ethnically Jewish and you can be religiously Jewish.
Yeah.
There's no such distinction in Islam, so you're either a Muslim or you're not.
Yeah, so Christianity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and when it gets to the point at which you're not allowed to criticize the bad. I mean, for ages, people have criticized, in the West, people have criticized Christianity because Christianity does have some really, really nasty stuff in it.
Oh yeah, it does.
we've got rid of all shit like that. You know, it's like I say, you know, the only people that really believe all the nasty things in Christianity now are the kind of fringe people who everybody laughs at. You know,
yeah.
So
I mean,
when you turn the same eye to Islam, and then you're told, oh no, you're not allowed to do that with Islam because, you know, it's racist or whatever, then that should bring up a red flag for everybody who's, you know, who's a bit skeptical and, you know, quite enjoys the fact that we live in a free society and everything like that. Because the nasty stuff in Christianity pales in comparison to the nasty stuff in Islam.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
Anyways, find a more light-hearted topic to talk about.
Yeah. The only thing I know about the Aladdin live-action remake is that Will Smith is going to be stepping in for Robin Williams, obviously because he's not here anymore.
Well,
so.
yeah, because Robin Williams, he can.
Will Smith is going to be the genie.
Yes. So
I can actually see that, and I call me thing, but I do quite like Will Smith as an actor. He was terrible in what was that film that was basically Scientology the movie? Was it After Earth or something like that? Was it?
You know about the one where he crash lands on Earth with his son, and it's been abandoned for like thousands of years.
Yeah.
I heard that was really, really bad.
That was
I absolutely love Men in Black.
That's a great film. I mean, he's a good actor. I'm not saying that. I just don't. No one can replace Robin Williams.
No, he'd have to make the character. He would have to make the character his own. He doesn't want to go after trying to copy Robin.
Right? Yeah, no one can. If he was still alive, he'd be recasted. He'd be already recasted.
So the thing, like, I mean, you know, what was it like? Trying to think, there were many other characters in like independent franchises that had sort of nods to the genie, particularly because of Robin Williams' influence. Like, you remember the Beetleborgs series? That character Flabber.
Yeah,
he had several of the genie's traits to him.
Big bad Beetleborgs. Except the second series of Beetleborgs was fucking shit.
Yeah, it was.
But if you watch the original Japanese version of the source material for Beetleborgs, that's actually badass.
What is the material for Beetleborgs?
B-Fight.
Yeah, B-Fighter, Kabuto, and I forgot what the other one was.
Dooku B-Fighter.
Yeah, Dooku B-Fighter, that's it, yeah. They're pretty badass. So is the Japanese stuff for VR Troopers as well.
Yeah.
Chojinki Metalda.
Kamen Rider Black RX is good. Kamen Rider Black RX is good.
Yes, Kamen Rider Black RX is good. So is Kamen Rider Death.
I don't like Spawn's Masked Rider. Ugh.
Yeah, Masked Rider was fucking awful.
And that bloody Kamen Rider Dragon Knight adaptation.
Oh, I didn't watch that. I didn't like Kamen Rider Ryuki, so I didn't watch Dragon Rider.
I've seen three or four episodes of Dragon Knight. That's about it.
It's awful. Kamen Rider Ryuki was boring enough.
I love Super Sentai and I love Kamen Rider. I mean, when I first got my DVD box set imported of Zoo Ranger, I did nothing but watch that over the course of 3 days and watch the entire show.
Yeah, I don't watch Sentai. I don't watch either Power Rangers or Sentai. I don't know why. I just gone right off it. But I haven't watched Kamen Rider properly for ages either. The last one I really liked was Kamen Rider Ghost.
Yeah.
And after that, when you had the one with where he's got was it Fruit Locks? Was it Loxy? Did that I can't remember what he was called. Kamen Rider Drive I didn't like either. Kamen Rider, was it X-Aid, the one that was all about video games?
What about Kamen Rider Wizard? I've got that.
I fucking love Kamen Rider Wizard. Yeah,
I've got several box sets. Some I bought when I was in America. Kamen Rider Black RX. I got that imported, but I bought because in San Francisco they have a place called Japantown, which is basically a shopping center full of collector shops, and it sells all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
I doubt that they'll ever.
Yeah, I'd quite like to go there, but I'm never going to get there. I know that now. I mean, one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to go to Japan at some point in my life, but I basically had to resign myself to the fact I'm never going to get there. Same with America. I've always wanted to go to America. I'm never going to get there.
Well, this may seem like a downer subject, but I'm starting to wonder if I'll ever get my own place. I'm still living in my parents' place. I'm 29, and I still haven't got my own place, which I really want.
Well, I technically...
Don't worry, just let it take you time, mate. Just, if you can, get on a waiting list. I mean, as I say, I was on a waiting list for 6 years. It took me 6 years. And despite all the effort was put in by me and my family...
Well, this is the thing. It's I lived with my mum up until about the age of 22, 23. Then I moved in with a girlfriend, and then I moved back to mum's, and I didn't move. And I still lived there up until we got this house. This house is joint owned. Well, it's joint rented. We've gone back into rented now by both me and my mum. And it's like I said. The problem is these days it's like I said, it's far too difficult for young people to be able to get their own places now, because you can't get on council as a white male. You cannot get a council house. You have to sit and wait for years and years and years, especially when you're a young male, because you're expected to be working and everything like that. And the best that they might offer you is like a bed sit or something.
I'm working, not on very good money.
No, exactly, yeah. But most people are going down the road of private renting now, because councils sold off so much of the council properties.
Yeah, thanks, man.
They can't deal with it anymore.
But on private renting, all your money just gets swallowed up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it does.
It's also expensive. You don't have the money to do anything.
No.
I mean, my sister moved out about four-ish years ago, but she doesn't own her own place. She's actually house sharing with a friend of ours from uni.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people do now. It's basically nobody can really afford. Nobody from sort of like the working class really can afford to buy a home anymore. It's too expensive. That's from what I've seen from like the shifting markets and stuff like that, both in Europe and the Americas. That's due for a change. House prices are going to be dropping. And whether that's a good thing or not is, up to the future to decide. But it happened before. That's why you can't afford a house now, because house prices dropped. People bought houses, and then all of a sudden shit happened, and now they can no longer afford them. So it's
a lot of people get to the point where they're near the end of their mortgage, but then they end up deciding to remortgage.
Yes, and that is one of the dumbest things you can do. Trust me.
If you can't afford to finish paying it once, why start doing it again?
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, I'm in a very fortunate position. Because at the moment, I'm in a group. I have a slight disability, but I'm in this group called the eventual return to work.
Yeah.
And they've said to me, I could work up to 16 hours a week without it affecting my benefits. The problem with it is that it's finding something that's suitable for me to do.
Right.
Rather than being in a, because I've done like I've had only a couple of like actual paid work, one that lasted over 3 years, which was just very good to start with, but then I ended up suffering really badly from doing like 3 hours traveling altogether there and back every day. And I started to have issues in the job. And then I had a Christmas vacancy at Wilkinson's, which went well, but they couldn't keep me on. And I've done like 8-week unpaid work experience placements, which is the program the job centre puts you on. And no, they didn't give me work. They didn't give me work at all.
No, I think all these things what they do, with job centre, it's a waste of time and money. Because I used to work for one, and it was specifically geared around having helping young people back into work and stuff like that, and it just didn't work, because what places tend to do, and they found this out with a few companies that were advertising for these things, that were saying, we want people to go, is they were just using them as unpaid labour.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no intention of giving people jobs and stuff like that.
No, for them it's 8 weeks free labour. We don't have to pay them. It puts less. It gives them work to do. It puts less. We don't have to do as much, and we don't lose any money.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's a fucking joke when they do it. It's like, oh yeah, we're trying to do this to get people back into work. It's like, yeah, but you're not actually doing that. You all you're doing is getting people to go and do a 40-hour week for nothing, basically. You get your benefits for doing it. You don't get any benefits from working because obviously it's like if I'm working a 40-hour week for less than minimum wage, which is what you're doing. It's like, well, I should be getting minimum wage for doing it. It's the law, but the finagled the laws and the regulations in such a way that you're not classed as working, you're classed as training, which irritates the fuck out of me. And
the reason why
if I get up and go to work in the morning, I expect to be paid for it because it's like I'm going to work for somebody else to make somebody else rich. So why am I not getting fair compensation for my labor? It's like a lot of these things that when you do get jobs now and they class you as being self-employed, so that it's like a tax fiddle kind of thing.
Yeah, there was that thing Uber, wasn't there, where they were trying to class all their employees as self-employed.
Through what?
Pensions.
Oh, Uber, yes, yeah. When they're classing people as self-employed, yeah. The problem is a lot of places don't seem to appreciate is that if you're classed as self-employed, then that means I decide my working hours, not you.
Yeah.
So it's like I say, if I'm self-employed and I wake up on a Monday morning and I don't feel very well, then I'm not going to work. And it's like, yeah, all right, so I won't get paid for it. Fine. But then to hold that over me and go, well, you should be here. It's like, well, if I should be here, then I'm not self-employed, am I?
No, but that's a good point. I mean, it's like obviously you know unless you get sick pay, which a lot of places don't pay sick pay anymore.
Sick pay anymore.
Right, you can't go to work. So, the reason why I did that long unpaid work placement was to gain new experience in a new field of work because I'd been an office boy for several years, but to find a job that was more local to reduce stress, I needed to get retail experience, and that's why I did it.
Yeah, I mean it's all well and good and places wanting experience and stuff like that. The problem is, I mean, I've done loads of different jobs. I've mainly done like admin and stuff like that. I've done physical labour work and everything. But then when you get to my age, you start hearing the, like, oh, you're overqualified and stuff like that. Which basically what they mean by that is you're too old. But they can't say that.
It costs. They say it costs them more to take on someone who's past the sort of younger category. Whilst if they take trainees on, that have just
plus also the fact is that once you've got quite a few years experience under your belt doing something, you also start not taking shit from people. And a lot of places, like I say, some places I've worked in where they have like mainly, younger. I mean, I worked at one particular place and the average age of staff members was 18. So it's like when I went there, I felt like I was the fucking granddad. And some of the shit that they fucking tried to fling at people, when you've got, sort of kids as the main workers, and then you've got kids as managers. And then you get some fucking 18, 19-year-old coming up and mouthing off at you. Especially in my age, it's like, sorry, I don't take shit from children. And it's like, right, I'm here to do this. Have you got any complaints about my work? No? Well, fuck off then.
Yeah. The problem is that's what like McDonald's and Burger King are like. Like their entire workforce are practically 18-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like they might not like to admit it, but there are certain jobs that fit in with certain age groups, like working in like McDonald's, Burger King, and stuff like that. That's the job you get before you get a proper job, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from there.
Yeah, that's the job. That's the job you get to put you through your teenage, your late teens, early 20s years. Back when you're still at that age when all you're bothered about is going out boozing and getting laid. Yeah.
No, I say, John, if I can ask, are you like a supervisor in your work, or you just like a member of staff?
I think Knowles just fell asleep.
No, just a normal colleague.
Yeah, you're just like basic level staffer, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it, John. Does stuff come up where you work, not mentioning any names, for, you know, like higher level positions? Does like someone go up on the notice board for that, or do they tend to recruit from outside?
We do have a board, notice board, that for like internal vacancies.
Yeah.
Usually, it's if you want to move in a department, so on. When it comes to like section leader, you have to go on something called what they call a step up program.
I just love how they call it section leader. Section leader. That's like Gruppenführer. It is. That's literally what section leader is in German. It's Gruppenführer.
So, what do you do, Carl? Do you work or?
No, I'm too ill to work. My ailments prevent me from working, both physical and mental. So it's if I go to work, there's a chance that basically I'll either ruin my body or I'll ruin my mind. So I'm not capable of doing any kind of physical labor anymore. And plus, if I get too stressed, it sets my fibro off. So it's like I might go into work on a Monday morning and say I work in a call center. I have a particularly bad call which fucks me off, and it sets me fibro off. I'll spend Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in bed. You know, it's kind of like that. But with regards to Nolsey there with his job, it's basically the kind of thing I was trying to get out there with Nolsey's work. You know, asking if there's any jobs coming up. Any jobs coming up? You know, like that are a higher position. That's how people used to get career progression in the jobs. You tend not to find that much anymore, because you'd start off at the bottom. Yeah, you'd start off at the bottom, and then like what Knowles is doing, there kind of thing. You know, he's now got a lot of experience working for that company.
There'd be so many more jobs around. You could work your way up, and then
exactly, and that's the thing.
Nowadays, it's all about
it used to be like, say you're doing the same job that Knowles is doing there. After a few years, you know, he'd be able to apply for a position as, you know, like Gruppenführer or whatever. And, you know, his experience would count towards that, you know, and he would be looked upon more favourably than somebody who's, you know, just walked in off the street because the dolls sent him down there. But nowadays they judge everybody equally, kind of thing. And if somebody in management takes a particular dislike to Knowlesy, they give that job to the person who's walked in off the street, because what happens is like, well, it's easier to train the newbie up into a management position because they haven't got any biases, and they're not like connected with the staff below them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
That's how it works now. So it's like I say, job progression these days is something that's so hard to come by, that when it's offered to you and when you get it, it's something that should be cherished. You know, because it's like I say, it's something that everybody wants, but not a lot of people get.
Yeah.
Without mentioning any names, I can say something. I mean, this particular person wasn't working at the store I was working, where I did my retail work experience placement. But a couple of months after I'd finished there, I'd heard that one of the assistant managers had left, and that they got this 19-year-old girl as the new assistant manager.
Yeah.
And everyone was constantly complaining about her, saying she's bitchy and she'd upset customers, she puts customers off. And I did know this girl kind of like, because she served me, and she certainly didn't seem very nice. And she was getting various complaints to the manager, but they still kept her there in that position.
Well, with regards to that, I've known quite a few people who've worked at places for years. A friend of mine, he worked at a particular frozen food place, and he was assistant manager of this shop in all but name, and he put in God knows how much overtime. And there was one particular thing where he booked a holiday, and the shop was short staffed, but his holiday was about 3 months away. So what he did was, he was basically working 7 days a week, doing 12 hours to make up for the shortfall in staffing. And at the same time, he'd also applied for, you know, the job to officially be the store's assistant manager. And he put in all these hours and all this work, and it come round to, you know, where they got to the point where they didn't need him to be working every day anymore. And when it came up to his holiday, they came to him 2 days before he was due to start his holiday and said, "Oh, by the way, we're cancelling your holiday because we're still short-staffed." And he's like, well, no, sorry, I'm actually going away, so I can't cancel it, you know. And they said, oh, well, we just wanted to tell you as well that your application for assistant manager's been turned down. We're actually giving the job to somebody who'd never worked for the company before. And he went off on his holiday, he came back, did a few days at work, and then he just basically quit. Because he said, if you're going to stab me in the back like that, then I don't want to work for you. And there's quite a few people I know that's done that, where the workplaces for years and years, you know, done more than what they should be doing, you know, done more than what they're paid for, well, you know, basically well thingied their lives, you know, structured their lives around the work rather than the other way around. And then the companies come and stab them in the back. And, you know, it's, you know, you shouldn't have to take it. You shouldn't have to take it.
I mean, I can pretty much mention about my last employer.
Yeah.
Basically, what happened with me, my last employer, I was there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And I was made redundant May of last year. What happened was the year before, so 2016.
Yeah.
We were all told a year in advance before this happened that a certain company was basically going to be buying the company out that my company that I work for.
Yeah.
And basically, we were told over the course of a year, you don't need to worry. It will not affect anything. The only possible thing it will affect is mid-level management.
Yeah.
So the company comes in, buys a company, so on and so forth. Everything seems peachy. Then, end of March last year, we all got basically told to come to a very important meeting.
Yeah.
And we were told that despite everything being told everything would be fine, barely 3 months after the company was bought out, the new owners basically said, we're going to be slashing jobs.
Yeah.
My department was pretty much shut down and 175 people were going to be made redundant.
Yeah.
Now, because I am legally classed as a disabled person because I'm dyspraxic,
Yeah.
I interestingly about that, I just mentioned it one day. I was talking to some colleagues, and it just happened that our union representative was there, and he just took me aside and said, basically, right, Sam, does the company know about the dyspraxia? I said, yeah. I mentioned it literally during the interview, and my manager knew. But, and he said, right, have you been offered a new contract within the company in a different department? No. As far as I'm aware, I'm losing my job. I said, right, they should actually be offering you another position due to you having this disability because they have to by law.
Yeah.
I said, right, well, the problem we had at the time was my manager, for some unknown reason, had been suspended. So I couldn't speak to him. So my union rep just said, well, leave it with me. So this is where things just went to shit. They offered me 2 positions. One of them I was not qualified to do. I literally looked at it was like, right, well, I don't have any of the skills that you need to do the job. And unless you're willing to train me, I can't do this job. Yeah. Then the second one they offered me, I could do. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. It's pretty much similar to what I'm doing already. There was a catch, which literally a lot of people complained to the union about. Basically, if I took this new role in the company, I would lose all my pre-booked holidays.
They can't do that.
I know. And I brought this to the union rep and said, basically, they can't do this. And he said, I've already spoken to the powers that be about this. And this just baffled me. And it baffled the union. And it's the reason why I basically pretty much left. And it was apparently the reason I will lose my pre-booked holidays, even though the company had agreed on them months ago, was because I was switching to another department, and that meant I would have to go with that department's HR to get my holidays, but I wouldn't be able to book any new holidays for 6 months.
Yeah. That bit of it's fine. It's whenever a company takes over another one, they have to honour everything. So if you've got booked holiday, they have to honour them.
Yeah.
If they refuse to, then you are entitled to raise a proper complaint and take it to an employment tribunal. In which case, the employer would promptly shit themselves and more than likely just go, "Yeah, have your holidays." But it wouldn't look good. They'd go, "Oh, well, he's took us to a fucking tribunal."
Well, say I left anyway because
that's the worst thing you could have done, because what I would have done in that situation is the job that they offered, that you said that you weren't qualified for, I'd have taken that. And then when they said like, "Oh, well, do this," you go, "Well, I'm not qualified to do that." And if they say, "Well, why did you get the job then?" When, "Well, he offered me the job, I assumed that the training would come with it because you knew I wasn't qualified to do it either." And then all I would do is just go into work and sit there and do nothing. Because then at that point, then they can either do one or two things. They can either train you to do the job, or they can sack you, at which point then you take them to an employment tribunal for unfair dismissal.
Yeah, I'm not that smart. That's the problem. I'm not that smart.
It's like I say, everything's a learning experience. Everything's a learning experience, and it's like I say, I've had to deal with some fucking shit. I mean, I had to take a particular company to a tribunal once because they kept deducting money out of my wages because they said they'd never had a like a P46 form or whatever. When I handed it in, and I got 1 week's wages where they'd calculated it according to this form, but then for some reason then they started deducting money out of my wages. And as it turned out, due to a clerical error, I was paying someone else's CSA payments.
Yeah.
When I confronted them about it, they basically gave me this person's name and address and said, "You need to contact that person, that individual directly to arrange for them to repay the money to you." I'm like, "No, I don't. That's your job. You fucked up. You fix it." And they said, "No," basically. So I was down by a couple of £100. And I took them to, what they call it, I contacted the union. They did like a tribunal thing. And I got the money back, but then not long afterwards, I sort of didn't have a job there anymore, because they don't like it when you kind of stand up for yourself.
Well, interesting talk about tribunals. In the last job I was talking about, there was an incident where we did take them to a tribunal. I wasn't involved in it directly, but it did affect me and everybody in my department. And basically what happened, for about 2-ish months, maybe a bit longer, our scheduled shifts kept getting changed and rebooked by one of the managers without any of us being notified, and it was leading to a lot of people, for example, people who had days booked off were suddenly getting emails saying, "Oh, by the way, you're in tomorrow morning for a shift." It's like, "No, I'm not working tomorrow."
"No, I'm not. I've got an oldie book, so swim."
Yeah, and it was just ridiculous, and it went on for 2 months, and eventually it got took up and got dealt with, and the manager.
I worked at a place once, and it took them ages to figure it out. But what some people were doing they were booking, like say Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, and then they were coming into work on Friday, Saturday, Sunday without being asked, and then basically sitting around doing nothing all day, and then claiming the day as time and half. And the company didn't notice people doing that for months.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, and they didn't notice people doing that for months, and it's just like, that as well as taking piss, it's like that's a pretty good scam. It's like, I wish I'd fucking done it. But they stopped that, and then basically the people who'd done it, they said, "Right, you're losing your holidays obviously because you booked them and you worked them, so you're not getting them back. And that time and a half that you had, or we're having that back as well."
Yeah. The one funny thing with my job, I remember when I'd probably been there maybe about a year, and this was when I went to Art Assembly back in 2011 or 2012, I think it was. No, actually, both 2011 and 2012, and basically, I booked off the time off, as you do. Everything was approved about it, according to me. I mentioned it before I finished. I said, just to clarify, I'm off now until so back so basically on my mum. This was, yeah, so I got a phone call from my mum one year. And I thought, what's this? And so I answered it, and I thought, all right. And then I was just expecting my mum was just ringing to see how I was. She was ringing me to let me know that there had been about 5 missed calls on the phone, and one voicemail asking where I am.
Yeah.
This was where they were asking where I was. With me. They fully knew what I was doing. I actually went to my manager and section leader and said, I'm off. So. They all knew about me being on holiday. But yeah, I had 5 missed calls, and they're asking where I am. And I had to actually ring them myself and tell them, I'm on holiday. You are well aware of this. I had to literally ring them myself. And I was like, who is actually involved in charge of the in the role? It's the same now. I mean, people on holiday, like a good friend of mine called Darren, something similar to that happened to him about a month ago. Yeah. He was on holiday. It was booked. One of our section leader, I'm not going to name names, but one of our section leader, he knew about it, and they put me on the self-scan checkouts in order to come in. He was on a week.
Yeah.
Section that he was down for on the rota, but yet there was well aware he was actually on holiday, and this is a constant problem. There's such a big communication problem at our place, and things just do not get put down. They actually have a diary. They put stuff down in the diary, but they don't go to the diary to make sure and double check.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, I once worked at a place, and I was on my 4 days off, and first day off was basically catching up on my sleep because I used to work nights mainly. Second day, I went out on piss, and then I got a phone call on, sort of early in the morning on the third day while I was still in bed, nursing a hangover, and they were like, "Why are you not in work?" And I'm like, "Because I'm on my days off, maybe." Well, not according to the rotor. And it's like, well, according to the rotor I've got here, it's my days off. And they're like, "Oh, you haven't got the new rotor, have you?" And I went, "What do you mean new rotor?" I'm like, "Oh, we put a new rotor up yesterday." And it's like, well, how the fuck am I supposed to get it when I'm not in work? And I went, "Also, what time can you be in there?" I went, 2 days. In 2 days when I'm actually due back in work, it's not my fault. In new rotor while I was off, on my days off, like. And if you did, you should have rung me and said, "Oh, we're changing your things," because otherwise I wouldn't have gone out on piss, and now I've got plans for later. So suck it.
Yeah, we had a similar problem. We had a manager. She don't actually work for our store anymore. She actually she's moved to, I think, one of the Leeds stores or something.
Yeah.
But so yeah, pretty much when she was in charge of our section, she would put people down on the rota without telling them.
Yeah.
And it really annoyed people. And literally, I remember one time, it was a Tuesday, I think. One of my days off. It's either a Tuesday or a Saturday, so either one. And I got a phone call. It was runners, what they call the runners that go and get things for people.
Yeah.
And so it was a runner that actually had to ring me and they said, "Hiya, John, are you aware you was in at 12 o'clock today?" And I was like, as far as I'm aware, this is my contracted day off. And she was like, according to this, you have approved you have given authority to come in for an extra shift for overtime. And I went, "Excuse me, but where was this conversation? Who exactly told you this?" And then they said the name of the person. I thought, right, okay, well.
Hello?
Still there, John?
Yeah, he's roboting a bit.
Yeah. Back to this. Something happened to me when I was on my Christmas vacancy at the store, and basically I had because I have a slight learning disability, I need to be shown the rota so I can follow it. And the manager once put me down to put me down on a shift I wasn't aware of, but she didn't actually. No one had actually shown me the rota, because actually what we did was we filled in the rota ourselves.
Yeah,
we were told what to work, and we had to fill in the rota ourselves. But I'd never been able to do that, and so that evening I was supposed to be in. The manager calls me and says, "Oh, you've missed a shift today." So, "Oh, sorry. Sorry. What's happened?" Says, luckily she was okay with it. She said, "Oh, we just put you in for another one." And this is one of the reasons why I've thought about going self-employed. But in my case, it would be I could make a proper living out of.
Yeah, that's the problem when you do go self-employed. You need to be able to make and guarantee yourself work.
Yeah, you can't claim any benefits when you're self-employed.
No, you can't. No, because obviously you're working, so you probably might still be able to get like disability or whatever it's called now, because that's not conditional on you working. But as for other stuff, no, you can't, because you're classed as. This is the problem. What they've said with like 0-hour contracts, because you're not guaranteed any work, and but you're classed as working. So it's one of the reasons why a lot of places
they can just call you in for a few hours when they think they need you. And then don't call you. They give you a whole month without getting any other work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean it's one of. I mean it's stuff like that. I mean it's like John was saying there about like the self checkouts and things in supermarkets. I never use those because I fundamentally disagree with them, because it's putting people out of work.
Yeah, it is.
It's like I say, they set the machines up, and half the time they don't fucking work anyway. But they set the machines up, and then that means then that for every machine they set up, that's one person's the job. Speaking
of it, these experiences. Like I went into McDonald's the other day, and I was using one of those self-order machines, and one of them completely fucked up. So I called a member of staff over. He says, "Well, just go to another one." I said, "Well, what's happened?" He says, "Oh no, the machine's just packed in." Yeah, I'm like, this does not make it any easier at all. I mean, let alone I would never go to work in McDonald's. It's hard enough being a blinking customer.
Yeah. I mean, when I go into McDonald's, usually I end up having to use the self-service machine. Is this still working? Because everything's just locked up.
No, it's still here.
Oh, still there. Yeah. I usually end up having to use the self-service machine, because what they've done is they've got rid of the what they call it. Where you can actually go up and speak to a person to place your order.
Yeah,
and it's like the main McDonald's in town. There's either one or two, I think, of those, and usually there's a queue a mile long, and it's like I'm only calling it, like a takeout. So I end up having to.
And they give you a number, don't they? You have to go and stand and wait for your number to be called.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely fucking hate having to do that, but it's like I say, it's you have to basically. But in supermarkets, I won't use the self-service checkouts at all.
I do it when I go to Poundland, but it makes it just as hard, because the queues in Leicester's Poundland, main Poundland store, are so big at the bloody tills.
Yeah, it's not so bad in the Poundland. We haven't got any self-service checkouts in Poundland that we've got here in Doncaster. We've got 3 branches of Poundland. Yeah, we've got 3 branches of Poundland, and they always have at least 2 people on tills. Because I think they realise that it gets busy. Yeah. But then it's like, you go into some other shops that's there, and you'll be stood for ages waiting because there's only one person on tills, because they're only paying one person to be on checkout duty that day. And it's like, well, you've got people stacking shelves and stuff, and they're just like going through business, and then it's like home bargains is bad for that. There'll be queues around the fucking block for people waiting to go on till, but there'll only be one person on the till. Same with B&M. They're the same. Be loads and loads of people out stacking shelves, but it's like, well, it's all right putting the stock out, but when you've got people actually trying to give you money, I think that's a little bit more important.
That happens at ours. I mean, I remember, actually not just that one. We have a place called Wilco's as well.
Yeah, Wilco's.
And we've actually got two, actually. And we've got one in Hessel, just up the road from me, and one in Hull. And I went to the one in Hull, and I thought, you know what, I'll just pick myself a drink up, and as you do, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a massive queue just started. It was like 3 rows of three-row queue, and there was only 2 people on, and one person actually closed up and was walking away, and I was just like, okay, so you got 3 rows of a queue, and you've only got 2 on. How is this logical? And it's similar with our place as well, because when it comes to queue systems, we have something called a useful thing when it worked. And what I mean by that is we had 3 people on the front end. We had 2 what they call runners, and we had a section leader or manager. And basically, the 2 people that was running, they would literally be helping out the checkouts with, customers like wanting a pint of milk or something that they've forgotten, etc. And it would roll a lot better, and it was a lot easier. But then when things changed and Walmart took over Asda, which they've fully taken over us now, it has become
he's roboting again.
Now where it's more
John, you have a really bad connection.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had a bad connection all night with everything.
Yeah.
It's just literally just been
Karoo, the best internet provider in the world.
It's literally just been cutting up all night on my end as well.
Yeah. It's I don't fucking know. But yeah, it what they call it with shops and stuff like that. It really does my head in when they, when they cut down to an absolute fucking skeleton staff, and then they wonder why people get pissed off and everything. And I've done that. I actually did it in Asda once, where all I wanted to do was buy some cigs and a bottle of pop.
Yeah.
And I went and stood at the fag counter. There were 3 members of staff behind the fag counter, and they were all stood talking. And I must have been stood there for about 10 minutes waiting for somebody to come and serve me. I even shouted at them, just said, like, I'm waiting. I just got ignored. So I just basically left the stuff that I wanted on the counter and just walked away.
Yeah.
And as I was walking away, one of them shouted, "Oh, we'll serve you now." And I went, "You had your chance."
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I'm trying to give up, I often go to the off license to get my fags because there's hardly ever queues in there.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I'm just no snipping out. Talk amongst yourselves again.
Oh. Okay.
I'll tell you something, right? Obviously, in the premise of neutrality and remaining anonymous. I'm not going to mention the company that I work for on this stream, even though you both know who it is. But this isn't a complaint about the company. I have no complaints about the company I work for currently. However, what this is what happened today at Tills, which happens now and then, and it actually annoys the hell out of me and a lot of people that work there. So I was on the end till, which basically is connected to the disability bays, where wheelchair users can come up and it's easy access for them to do the shopping with a till. And basically, so I'm just serving a customer, and all of a sudden this lady comes up to the disabled bit with a ton of stuff and then just says, "I haven't got any cash. Is it okay if you look after this?" And I'm serving a customer, so I was like, "Give me a second, I'm just doing this." And then as I'm like sorting the customer's money out while they're paying, and she just says, "Oh, I'll just be back in a second, all right, thank you." She then dumps all the stuff on the disabled bay and walks off. My personal opinion of that was, I really don't care. And if that stuff gets picked up by one of my colleagues and taken back into shop, I don't care.
Yeah, what she should have done, she should have known to have her cash with her prior to coming in the shop.
The problem,
don't wait till you get.
Well, the problem is, Lawrence, one of the things that I've noticed working from that side of things now, because my previous job was customer service on the blower. So basically, I didn't actually deal with people directly. But now that I'm working directly in with actual people and customers and not on the phone, one thing I've noticed in this modern world of ours is teenage girls are the worst because they do not have any money on them. They do not carry bank cards. They have a bloody pay app that is a minimum of £30. And when it goes over £30 and you say to them, sorry, you can't use your contactless, it's over £30, they'll be like, but I don't carry money. Can you just split it up for me? Oh yeah, it's only £100. Let's split it up into sections. We'll be stood here for 5 minutes while you beep away with your phone. Why the hell don't you carry cash or a bank card? I do.
And then the managers will have a go at you for something, for holding other customers up when it's not your fault.
Believe me, the managers will often get annoyed at the teenage girl who doesn't carry cash or a card and only uses a phone.
I know that way too well.
You know, what's going to happen, love, if you drop your phone and it smashes and dies? You have no money because you don't carry money or a bank card. Your bank is your phone. That's just stupid. Anyway, that's me ranting done.
I've had that one.
Thank you. I'll be here all night.
Yeah. I've had that.
Back.
Oh well, I think it's time I brought this one to an end because I'm starting to get a bit tired now. So
Okay.
All right, then, Matt.
well, that's what I say. So I'll end the stream here. First time I've done a stream on my channel for a while, so I don't know. We've had viewers in and out over the thing. I see a few people's come in and watch. So thank you for all the people watching. Thank you to Nolsey and to Sam and to Lawrence for coming on and having a ramble.
No problem.
Could do this a bit more often.
Very much for having us.
Yeah, so I might do this a few more times, see what happens, see where the topics go and stuff. So
also apologies for that, the roboticness and bad
no,
connection.
don't worry about it. It happens to everybody. It's it's not you can do about it, so there's no need to apologise.
Don't worry.
Yeah. So, anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for all the people that have been on, and have a good night. And hope that you don't end up in my death note. Laters.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, man.